A very good morning to all my dear friends. I hope you all are doing good. This is Prashant Mawani and I welcome all of you to Study IQ. The date today is 29th September 2017. Before moving ahead, let me tell you about our pen drive and tablet courses. Now today is the last date regarding this Navratri offer. You get 30% discount on pen drive and tablet courses on test series, which is of all these items that you can see on your screen are designed by top faculties of our country. So if you haven't got it, today is the last date. Don't wait for anyone. Feel free to give us a call if you have any question on or query on this number. You can check out our StudyIQ.com website as well to find out more about UPSC test series and other material that is available for you guys to utilize. Now let's talk about this thing that you can see on your screen, and let me tell you that this is not about motivation, right? This is not a sort of motivation dose that through which we start our day. Let me clarify this thing. This is not a sort of advice session as well, right? I'm not here to give you advice because you guys know very well what to do and what not to do, but these things are basically technologies, right? I know it may sound a bit strange here, but trust me, it is a technology. And if you give it a try, I strongly believe that motivation is something that fluctuates a lot, right? Sometimes you are in a state that you require motivation, and that itself means that we are allowing ourselves to get demotivated, isn't it? But never mind, let's stick to this one. Technologies are the things that work, right? And this thing that you can see, that positive attitude, whatever comes, if you give it a try, right? Take, say for example, let's decide today that whatever comes, whether it is good or bad, you will accept it, you will embrace it with a smile, with a positive attitude. If you are going through a very rough period of time at present as we are speaking, then you can play around with the time. You can say that for next 1 hour I will be positive. Then you can again extend this 1 hour, and this way you can cover your 24 hours, so 1 day would be complete. So give it a try, right? For next 15 minutes, next 1 hour, next 2 hours, whatever the time you like, whatever happens, right? It doesn't matter, whatever happens, just accept it, and you will see that you will start enjoying things even if they are not that good. Give it a try and do let me know about your experience with this thing. And remember, it is technology and it will produce some result if you are crystal clear in instructing your mind and body that whatever comes for the time that you decide, you will take it as positive signal. Let's crack on. Let's see what we have got. Editorial, the first one is from Darjeeling. Now for last nearly more than 3 months, this place was not in a good shape, and when I say not in a good shape, I'm talking about the political situation in this part of our country. We are talking about West Bengal, right? Darjeeling is in West Bengal, so we are talking about West Bengal. And the good thing today is that today you have a small day off from all the maps, because today the things that we are going to discuss, I don't think so we need map for all this discussion. So today there are no maps in it, so don't look for one. Anyways, yes, so we were talking about this agitation or the problems, political issues that were going on in this part, and it all started with a statement that was issued, or that was said by Miss Mamata Banerjee, who is the Chief Minister of West Bengal. What she said that Bengali being made a compulsory language of study in the state. Basically, every kid in school has to compulsorily learn this Bengali language. Now this is a big issue for this part, because you have in this Darjeeling area, or the areas nearby this Darjeeling, we have people, they are basically, they used to be Nepali people. When I say Nepali, you know that this Gurkha people are basically from Nepal, isn't it? But they have been living here for the longest period of time, and of course there is no doubt they are Indians. So they were not happy about it, because it was something that it was taken as, and it is generally taken as, a sort of trying to get rid of their identity, right? And this is not something that is unique in in this Darjeeling area, it has something similar. If you go back to the history, then you find that the whole this Tamil Tiger movement in Sri Lanka was because of language. And see, the language is a tool here, right? But the main thing is identity. It is the identity of your culture. It is the identity on individual level as well. Imagine from today, if government particularly comes to you and orders you that you are not going to use your mother tongue from now on. It is banned in this country. You will protest for it, because your mother tongue or the language that you are speaking is so dear to us. It is part of our identity. So people will not allow, no one will allow it to be made outlawed. The second thing is, or the another examples I can provide, like Catalonia issue that is going on at present in Spain. 1st October is not far, so we will see whether it will go through the referendum or not. And Kurdish, right, in Iraq, there was a referendum. And if you want to know more about this topic, Catalonia and Kurdish people, then we have a special video lecture on our StudyIQ YouTube channel, so go through it. Very interesting thing that are taking place in these two countries, so must go through it. If you go back to the history of Netherlands or Japan and China, then as well we find that language has been a sort of issue. And whenever any powerful party, or you say whenever government is trying to suppress this sort of things, then it is always reacted, or the answer or the reply is always agitation. People will not accept it. Now the main thing is that because of this thing, from last 104 days, right, this whole hill area of Darjeeling was basically going through a blockade. Everything was down over here, and the problem, union government, the state government, they were trying to sort out this problem, but this people who are representing this Gurkha community, they were not coming on table. They were agitating, and their basic demand is they want a separate state, right? They want a state. They are not asking for a separate country, remember, right? They are asking for just a altogether a separate state in which they can have their own rules, and they can have their own, when I say their own rules, I mean they have the more autonomy. Things are in their hand. So this is their basic demand. And after 104 days, we are seeing that everything is coming back to normal. Of course, the good thing is that now both the parties, the government and the rebels, or you may say that the protesting party, now they are ready to talk with each other. The thing is, dear friends, this again reminds us, and you should also read between the line in this thing, that see, for any country or any place, right, whenever you find this sort of political situations or issues going on, it affects economic life, it affects technological life, it affects the cultural life, social fabric gets disturbed, right, politically. So all the dimension of society gets affected whenever we find this sort of issues taking place. I'll give you one example regarding economic life. Now we know that Darjeeling is famous for two things. First one is, I'm sure you know it very well, Darjeeling tea, and the second one is tourism. Now this is a hilly area we are talking about, so you know that in hilly area, it is, compared to the plains, it is difficult to live in hilly area, isn't it? Things would be expensive because you would require more energy and more money to transport things in the higher, in this high altitude, isn't it? So tourism, of course, because you have hills, you have scenic beauties here, etc., etc. So tourism is a good business, and most of the people around the world as well, if you go to, then you find that hilly area are quite famous for tourism. Now because of, as I told you, 104 days, since last 104 days, these things were, it was literally, you can say that it came to, the whole economy came to a halt. So because of this, the local people suffered. They have suffered a lot. Their livelihood has been destroyed. And the other thing is that now this scar will remain with this area for at least for some time, right? People will be skeptical in traveling to Darjeeling, thinking that you never know what would be the political situation over there. So this is going to impact them. Their tea their tea business as well has come down because of they were not able to supply anything. Transportation, everything was in hold. So this the basic thing that we can learn from this thing is that security and stability are two important pillars if we want growth and development of any country, any region, any city, any town, or any village. Right? Security and stability are important. Once you lose these things, then you won't be able to grow and develop. The other thing is that this whole thing could have come to an end because of multiple reasons. Like, first thing that I would see is see, with empty pockets and empty stomach, you cannot take a war, right? You cannot prolong a war. So people, once after this many days, they might have thought, in the initial period it could be that they were angry and things like that, but after that they realized that this is going to affect us. So this could be a reason that people would have forced, or they would have persuaded their leaders, this Bimal Gurung, or there is another leader as well here, Binay. So they could have, by the way, he is Bimal Gurung and he is Binay Tamang, just in case if you don't know. So it could be that reason people would have persuaded their leaders that enough is enough now, let's forget everything and let's open our economy and let's get back to the business. The other thing is that it could be possible that their business leaders, or not business but this political leaders, would have been able to find a solution, a breakthrough in it. And in the initial time, what this Bimal Gurung, he was the one who started all this thing. When I say started, I mean to say, I'm not blaming him. What I'm saying is he's representing this Gurkha Jan Mukti Morcha, or he's the leader of Gurkha people living over here. So of course he is the one who is going to take the issue. He's the one who is going to protest against the government, right? So he was the one, and of course things were not good. So there was sort of criminal sort of acts were thrown at him. So he is absconding at present. He's out of, or he could be in West Bengal or out, we don't know, but police were basically looking for him, so he was running away. He was not ready to discuss anything with the government, may it be central government or West Bengal government. And here again politics was taking its own course. We have three players here, as you know, that one is West Bengal, that is state government, one is central government, and the third one is this Gurkha representatives. Everyone has something and something in it, right? They all want to eat at the biggest piece of cake from this issue. BJP of course wants to form a government in West Bengal. West Bengal government wants to win brownie points from the Bengali people. It wants to see that it wants to project itself that it is taking a side of Bengali people and not this Gurkha people. Other third party, this one Gurkha people, they have their own agenda, they have their own wish list. So this is the thing. So what happened when he was not talking? So this gentleman, right, he came up and he said, let's talk about it, and he was made the chairman, or you can say the main man for this Gorkhaland Territorial Administration. At the same time, this man who was absconding, he realized that if he is going to stay away from this city, or if he is going to stay away from his region, then he is going to take over. So he quickly came back, and things are now back to normal, right? They are talking. The discussions are on, and hopefully in near future we'll find some sort of solution in this thing. So that's everything about West Bengal. Now we'll keep our eyes and ears open, but remember, the main thing is that security and stability. Without that, growth and development is not possible. Moving on to another item, and this is coming from Tokyo, Japan. Now there is a political, again this editorial is about politics, and political things or situations are developing in Japan. And the thing is, basically Prime Minister, who was here a couple of weeks ago, he was here in India, he has basically called for a snap election. As per the term, it should be, or the elections were going to take place next year, that is in 2018, but he has called for a sort of early election. And this editorial is saying that it could be a gamble, right? It could be a gamble business, what means it could be a gamble when it comes to the career of Shinzo Abe. But Shinzo Abe, of course, he is a very seasoned politician, so he would have sensed something, he would have something in his mind, or this is the perfect time for him to go for it, because he has also been a sort of controversial, or there are some controversies that have surrounded him as well. Now remember, the outcome of this election is going to be very important from India's perspective, because we know that India and Japan are very close friends. We have absolutely fantastic relationship with each other, and of course India is going to closely monitor the things that are going on in Japan. But it is not, we know that this is a sort of a election we are talking about, and in election it is not only how much powerful you are, it is also what your opposition or your challenger, what he or she is doing, that matters a lot as well. And here he is facing a sort of rising star in Japanese politics, because we are talking about, there is a sort of governor, right, a governor, and she is a lady governor, woman governor of Tokyo. Tokyo's first woman governor. Her name is Yuriko Koike, right? She is the one who is going to challenge Mr. Abe. Now remember, she is governor of Tokyo, and let me give you a brief highlight of Tokyo, and this will help you to understand the bigger picture. From this you can understand how powerful she can be. Now Tokyo is one of the most expensive cities of the world. Tokyo is one of the most populated city of the world. When we talk about Japan, then we know that it is a political capital, so you can understand in context of India, when you say India and Delhi, so we know the importance of Delhi. In the same way, this Tokyo is also important for Japan. You can say that it is a sort of heart of Japan as well. And the other thing is that Tokyo is a sort of growth engine for Japan as well, because it is one of the most industrialized, or you can say in terms of economy it is quite powerful, right, Tokyo. So you can understand if she is governor, and when I say governor, I'm talking about, I'm not talking in this governor is different from what we have, right? The state government governors that we have in our country, they are altogether different. This people, or this post of governor in Tokyo, or say for example a mayor of London, they are the one who are the main boss of the whole city. When I say main boss, I mean to say they are the one who will run the whole administration in the city. If you want a best example, something equivalent, of course not exactly copy and paste, but something equivalent, then I would say Arvind Kejriwal, right? We know he is Chief Minister of Delhi. Of course the deals between central government and the government of Delhi is different, but here they have more power in Tokyo, right? The governor has more power. So judging by the profile of Tokyo and judging by the post, now you can understand that if she is the governor of Tokyo, then she is already executing one of the most challenging job in the world, isn't it? She is looking after a city that is quite famous in the world, most expensive, most populated, etc. So she has a sort of potential. Apart from that, if we go through her early career, like 10 years ago in 2006 and between 2006 and 7, she has served for a brief period of time as a defense minister during Mr. Abe's first term, right? So she has been in politics for longest period of time. She is going to face some challenges as well, no doubt, and the challenges that I see is that Japanese political culture is a sort of male dominated culture, right? But the way she has managed to place herself as a governor of Tokyo itself indicates that things are changing. But on the countryside or out of this Tokyo city, things could be a bit difficult for her, but again we have to wait and watch. But so far so good, all her moves are quite positive. Like say for example, as I told you, she managed to win this election in city, and the interesting thing is that she was able to defeat Shinzo Abe's party in this local Tokyo election. The other thing is that she has now suddenly, as this thing was announced by Shinzo Abe, so she has formed a party called Party of Hope, and this party is drawing a number of parliamentarians from across the spectrum. That includes parliamentarians from, or you can say MPs are coming from ruling camp as well. Many people are leaving Shinzo Abe and they are heading towards her, so this indicates that she is coming up a little bit, right? Things are a bit positive on her side. The other thing is that when we were talking about this thing, that suddenly this thing took place, like suddenly she has to face a sort of election. This happens with us as well, isn't it? Particularly with students, and I'm talking about you guys in particular. Now imagine the situation that she is going through, and through this you would be able to understand the importance of preparation as well. I'm not going out of topic at all, because here we interact to ensure that your final whatever your goal is to crack civil services, UPSC or SSC, the main thing is we should be able to do it, isn't it? Now imagine for her it is to become a Prime Minister of Japan is her goal, and for you guys, say for example, it is to become a sort of IAS officer, say for example. Now imagine if by today afternoon you get a notification. Of course, remember, you have to take it positive as we have decided for the day. Now if you get a notification from UPSC that the IAS exam is going to conducted by the end of October, then what will you do? Isn't it something similar she's also going through? This is what life is all about. But there is a thing, you can have a sort of confidence, and this is not something that you can wear. It is not like your t-shirt or your sunglasses that whenever you require you wear it. It is something like your eyes, right? You have it with you all the time, and it develops. Confidence basically develops when you are constantly giving your best, right? When you have to work if you want to develop your confidence. So let me tell you that even if you go to your exam on whatever date it is in near future, or maybe after a year, you will have a sort of doubt, right? There will be doubt. There is doubt, right? You'll find 10%, 20% doubt will be there, which is very good. That indicates that you have tried your level best. So you cannot fake that thing, right? You cannot fake it. False confidence is not going to help you at all. And true confidence, or the real confidence, comes when you are constantly working, which I think is visible from this lady here. Of course, I'm not promoting anyone on this platform, right? I have nothing to do with Japanese election, but I have everything to do with your career and your preparation. So we should learn from each and every situation, isn't it? We should keep our eyes and ears open. So right, coming back to the main topic, so to speak, criticism. Now, as I told you, Japanese politics is all about male domination, and the other thing is that, see, 2020 Japan is going to have Olympic Games. Now if the governor is being occupied by this election, then people of Tokyo are not going to be happy with her, because at present the economy of Tokyo, or you can say economy of Japan, is not doing that well, and Olympic is a thing that will kick it will provide a sort of small dose of economic boost, because you know many people will travel here, there will be lots of products and merchandise will be produced, etc, etc. And the most important thing is that it will if things goes right, hopefully with Japan, you can have a sort of a surety that everything will go okay, everything will be all right, because the way they work, they planning ahead and all this, everything is, they are very punctual and very hard-working people as well. So hopefully things will be all right, and it can kick tourism. Now, if I'll give you a small example of Barcelona, it was in 1992 when they had their Olympic Games, And after that, this Olympic game of 1992 basically provided a platform for Barcelona to become one of the most looked after, or you may say wished for, sort of destination, tourist destination around the world. So something like this can happen with Tokyo as well. And when it comes to Olympic and sports, Japanese people are very much into it. They love sports, and we are seeing in every Olympic and other platform as well that they are, generally speaking, taking part in each and every sports, and they are doing quite well as well. So this is the thing, and we know that North Korea issue is also there. North Korea is not far from Japan. We have talked about it, and you have, I'm sure there is a picture in your mind now, isn't it crystal clear? Because you have been provided with maps many a times. So today there is no map, as I told you, because there is just one mention of this North Korea crisis. So opposition party may support Shinzo Abe, because if there is a sort of change in guard, then that itself is a risky strategy. And lastly, it is not going to be means the people of Japan are not going to have that many choices, because end of the day, the ideology of both this, you have two different people, but the ideology is more likely same. So it is not going to be that much drastic change. We won't be seeing that something altogether will change in Japan from after this election. This one is pertaining to India, Afghanistan and United States of America. Now we know that Defense Secretary, now remember this terminology is used for the ministers in USA. So here we call it Defense Minister, over there they call it Secretary of Defense or Defense Secretary. It's same thing. So if I use Defense Minister, so please keep this in mind, I'm talking about Secretary, US Secretary, right? So James Mattis, he was here in India, and now he is in Afghanistan, and we know it, the way things are going on. We have talked about Afghanistan and India relation a couple of days ago. I remember it quite clearly, and we have talked about new South Asia policy as well. We know that the new strategy, or you can say the new vision document or new plan of United States, how it is going to act, or what are the things it is going to do with Afghanistan or South Asia. When we talk about South Asia, you know that we are referring to 8 countries of SAARC, isn't it? But here the focus is on Afghanistan, and of course when we talk about Afghanistan, we cannot leave Pakistan, because it is, for the longest period of time, it has been a country who was picking up the cherry from this cake, because the money that was supplied, America used to give huge amount of money to Pakistan. It has provided many weapons and things to ensure that Afghanistan becomes stable. But we know the agenda of Pakistan, so there's no point in going into all those things. We know what things are. But now it has this strategy, which was released a couple of weeks ago, is quite different from what it used to be. Now India is in. That means that USA is going to shake hand with India. India is going to play a prominent role in ensuring the development and stability of Afghanistan, and Pakistan has been warned, severely warned by, or strictly warned by, United States. So here we are talking about a triangle, right? This is a triangle. Here you can place India, here you can place USA, and here is your Afghanistan. So all of them, all these 3 countries are going to work with each other, and they are going to ensure that Afghanistan becomes stable, democratic and free of terrorism, etc., etc. Now, as I told you that this strategy is a big change in what things used to be, and there was a talk as well. There was a demand from United States. There was a sort of hint. They were thinking about, or they were wishing that India would deploy some boots. When I say boots, I mean to say some soldiers at ground level in Afghanistan. But India has clearly said, that we are not going to deploy our soldiers over there. What we can do is we can intensify our help. We can intensify, and USA was also opting that India should intensify its help. India should use more energy when it comes to developing things. Everything should work in a much more efficient and effective way, I must say. So India has decided that we are going to train the police, because over there, you know that nowadays, earlier the attacks used to take place between the borders of the Durand line, that is between Afghanistan and Pakistan, but now attacks are taking place in the city area, in the urban area as well. So in the urban area you cannot deploy army because they are not trained for that, but the police, right, they are trained for it. They can do that thing. They know the nooks and corner of any urban structure, so it is easy for them to do it. The other thing is that we are going to develop 116 high impact community development projects in 31 provinces of Afghanistan. India and Afghanistan have also agreed to strengthen security cooperation with each other. We have already provided them 4 attack helicopters, and we are also giving them other things as well that will help them to stabilize their country. The other thing is that USA is going to increase more soldiers, or more troops are going to be deployed in Afghanistan. 3,000 people, 3,000 boots are going to come here. The other thing is that the convergence between India and USA on Pakistan, we are getting more and more serious about it, and severe as well about Pakistan. Now the good thing is USA has identified that it is the Pakistan who is the biggest troublemaker in this area, and we know consistently for the longest period of time we have been successful as well in showing the real face of demasking Pakistan at global level as well. And Xiamen BRICS declaration is a big blow on the face of Pakistan, because the China, which is considered as a sort of all-weather friend, they call each other as their all-weather friend, right? Whether it is raining, whether it is dark, or it is sunshine, whatever, if it is, the situations are good or bad, China and Pakistan are like brothers. So China as well was not able to save Pakistan on BRICS declaration, and recently, yesterday we talked about it, that Pakistan's foreign minister also accepted that groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba and this Hafiz Saeed and other people are sort of liability. They are the ones, he has indirectly accepted that they are terrorists. They know about these people. Now stronger ties of course are developing between USA and India, and this can be seen from all different aspects. Like, say for example, we are getting more and more defense technologies from United States, which is going to be very helpful for us, particularly in a period where we are seeing China is being assertive and aggressive. It is expanding itself and it is throwing its weight in different parts of the world, particularly Indo-Pacific region. So USA technology are going to be a big help, and recently we have signed a deal, and USA has agreed to sell us 22 Sea Guardian UAS, that is unmanned aerial system, right? So this is going to be given to India in recent future. Now you have 2 articles here. One is about, this one is about social media, right? 280 character test. This is about social media, and basically if I give you a gist of this thing, it is saying that social media at present, you have too much of quantity material available on social media. It should focus on quality. That's the gist of this thing. And the other thing is, and we have talked about, whenever I find any sort of good example of positive side of social media, then I have discussed with you guys, and I'm sure you know it. Like, say for example, nowadays we see that government is using more and more social media to interact with its citizen, and this is not happening in only India, it is happening around the world as well. And the good thing is that the communication is fast, it can reach to all the people, and the sort of so-called filters that were applied by the media houses are out now, because government can directly communicate with the citizens of their country. The other thing is, this one is regarding a sort of a debate, or you can say it is basically trying to define the difference between a sort of an activist and an intellectual. Now, intellectual is generally considered a person who is surrounded by books and library, and he is teaching somewhere, etc. This is a rough definition of intellectuals. And activists are the people who are generally when I say activist, the first thing that comes in the mind is that they are protesting about, they are not happy about something, and because of that they are either on the street and they are protesting it, right? So basically what happens is, say for example, any society, you have two things, right? There are some people who are happy with whatever the things are going on, and there are some people who are not happy with the things that are going on. So there is a clash of viewpoints. So this article is saying that in India we have a majority of people who do not want to change the things that are going on at present, because there are their own personal interest affiliated with it, with the things that are going on, and there is a small group of people who are basically activists who cannot bear this thing, and they are the ones who are raising voice. And now one thing that I agree with this article is that at present the thing is that if you even talk about, say for example, if you are if you are saying that this thing is not right with GST, or this thing is not right with demonetization, then people will brand you as that you are anti-Modi and you are anti-government. That is not right. You know, everyone should have. But one more thing is that, and I strongly believe in this thing personally as well, that whenever you are saying that this is not right or this is not good, then you should have some logical points as well to prove that thing. Emotional points are no. If you say that I don't like the face of our Prime Minister, then that is not an sort of excuse that you can say that you cannot expect the Prime Minister to be changed because you don't like his or her face. But if you say that his policies are not right, it is anti-constitution, etc., etc., if you can prove it, if you can put some valid point, then only people will hear you, right? Or else no one is interested in listening to all this nagging and bragging, right? Anyways, so this article is basically, he is trying to explain the difference between an activist and intellectual. At the end of the day, what he agrees, he's saying that we need both activists and intellectuals, and without if we have combination of this two group of people, then we would be able to ensure that too much power is not accumulated in hands of few people, and too much profit is not accumulated in the hands of few people. That's all about it. This one is about Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, whether it is good, bad, or whether there is any middle way that we can take and through which we can improve it. Now there are some good points, some points are political, so I have included the good points. Good point is that so far we have only focused on Swachhta and all that things from last many years, but one thing that we have forgotten is completely ignored, and that is about the caste system. We know that in our country we have a sort of people have accepted that it is only some castes who will deal with all the filth of the city, and that is not right, because it is at the end of the day, whatever job you do, whatever work you do, it's your occupation, and you are not only that, you are far above that as well. So we should, first of all, as per the author, we should get rid of this caste system, and then only we would be able to sort the problem out. Now we know that untouchability is prohibited under Article 17 of the Constitution, but then as well we see that manual scavenging, untouchability, these are the things that are practiced even today after 70 years of independence in our country, and we find people dying, particularly this sewage cleaners, that die because we are not even today using smart techniques or machines to clear the blockage. So he said that we have to change the mindset, government has to change the mindset, and there are some positive results as well of Swachh Bharat, like toilet access. Earlier it was 39%, now 69, nearly 70% population has access to toilet, and there are many villages and districts that are declared as open defecation free. The figures are given here, and of course you know that it is a big boon for women, because security, dignity, these are the things that are associated with toilet. Because if she has to, say for example, any lady, if she has to if he has to go to open to relieve herself, then it is of course not good for her dignity. Then there was a sort of argument going on between Mr. Jaitley and Mr. Sinha, both are from BJP, and one thing that I think it is interesting for us to know is that see, the direct tax figures have gone up. It is 15.7%. It is higher than compared to last year. And the other thing is that Jaitley sir has said that he has said that it is easy, like if you want to if say for example to make your economy a sort of fast economy, it's easier job compared to when you are having both the things. One is you are moving ahead in a good pace. At the other side, you are also ensuring that the benefits of growth are, or the benefits of this fast moving economy is available to all the people around the country. This is about anti-snake venom, and this is interesting item here. We are running out of time, so I'm leaving it for you guys to go through it. Of course, you know that you would be able to download this lecture from our website and Telegram channel. It is basically about venom, how you make it and why it is necessary, because we have very few venom extraction laboratories or centers in our country. EVMs are going to use, EVM stands for this machine here. It is called Voter Verifiable Paper Audit Trail, right? It is not trial, it is trail. Remember that trail means a sort of path or a road. So EVMs, that is electronic machine, which you can see here, it is connected with this thing. When you press a button on this one, you would be able to see a receipt on which you would be able to see to whom you have delivered your vote. It is basically introduced to ensure that transparency is maintained. There is no sort of any sort of corruption or things like that taking place during election. Afghanistan, we have talked about it. Here again you find the mention of 116 new projects. Government has decided, this is important, I'm going to take 1 minute to explain this thing to you. Right, so government has decided to borrow some money, and it is basically to manage this fiscal deficit. Now what basically means, what fiscal deficit means? Fiscal deficit is a very simple term. Think about yourself as a businessman. If you are purchasing more items and you are repairing your shop, you got your new furniture, new fan, new air conditioner, new carpet, etc., but your business, you are not selling that many things, etc. So what will happen after a month? You will find that this year or this month you have spent more money compared to what you have earned, isn't it? So you'll be having less money in your hand. So that's what fiscal deficit is all about. When expenditures are high and when revenue, that is the incoming money, is low, the imbalance that you get, or you can say the minus or the red balance that you can see, your bank will be in red, right? So that's called fiscal deficit. Why it shoots up, you know the reason. If you increase subsidy, if you are paying too much interest, these are all expenses, isn't it? Defense expenditure, poor performance, if people are not paying tax, right? This is incoming thing. If they are not paying tax, if you have borrowed huge amount of money, so these are the things why you have this imbalance. Zika virus in news. Zika is spread by this flavivirus. When I say flavivirus, I mean that Zika and dengue are from same viral family, and remember, it affects the babies, the pregnant ladies. If they get affected by it, then their newborn will have a sort of their head would be out of shape. It could be either very small, and of course they are not going to survive this thing. Gravitational waves are detected for the 4th time. It was Albert Einstein who predicted that there is something called gravitational wave in the space, and in 2015 it was for the first time we were able to detect it. Now many times you are asked this sort of full forms like what is LIGO, so you should know what it means, and this is a sort of rough picture of laboratory, right? That's the place where they can detect it, and it is basically a sort of L shape, as you can see here. And I have some couple of questions here for you guys, and with this I end this discussion. Remember, today you are going to take whatever it comes, you are going to take it very positively, right? That's a decision, conscious decision, I believe many of you, most of you would have made today. And today is the last day for this 30% discount. So if you haven't got this pen drive and tablet courses, I would recommend all of you to get it as soon as possible. I will eagerly wait for your answers. Till then, enjoy your studies. Jai Hind. Goodbye for now.